Okay, now let's look at the surface area of a cylinder. So I have two examples here that we're going to use in just a moment, but let's look at the formula real quick. So the surface area of a cylinder is the following. 2 times pi times r times h plus 2 times big B. So again, r is small, h is small, B is uppercase. So this first part finds what's called lateral area. And the lateral area is the entire outside wall of the cylinder, not counting the top and the bottom, which are the bases. This second part finds the area of the bases. So when you're labeling this, we don't need to label the 2 or the pi. We know what those are. R, though, is going to be the radius. You could say radius of circular base. And then H is the height of the figure. In this case, it's a cylinder. And then this big B is area of the base, which in this case is a circle. So let's try out some problems to see how this works. Now, this first one, let's fill in our formula with the information we need. So 2 times pi times the radius of this one is actually 9. So times 9. The height of the cylinder, actually in this case, is also 9. Plus 2 times, now the area of the base, since the base is a circle, we need pi r squared, right? So area of a circle, again, is pi r squared. So pi times the radius is 9 squared. Now, we are going to leave the pi's alone until we get to the very end of the problem, and you'll see how I do that. Now, in order to leave the pi alone, you can just kind of skip over it right now and do 2 times 9 times 9. So one easier way to do that maybe is 9 times 9 and then multiply that by 2. So 9 times 9, of course, is 81. And then we multiply that by 2, and this becomes 162, but we're going to leave the pi. Plus, now over here, oddly enough, 9 is the radius, and 9 squared is 81, times 2 again, same thing, 162 pi. And again, we're going to treat these pi's like they're variables, so we're not going to multiply them by the pi's yet. We're just going to add everything together. So 162 pi plus 162 pi becomes 324 pi. And now, as our last step, we're going to do 324 times pi. And what you end up with is 1017.87, and it actually continues, the decimal continues. And so on your test and in everything else we've done, you're going to just round this to the nearest unit, which would be this ones place. So we're going to round that up to 1,018 square centimeters. So there's the answer to that one. For this second one down here, fill in our formula. 2 times pi times the radius. Now this time, notice, from here to here is 4 inches. That would actually be the diameter of the circle. So half of that, half of 4, would be 2. So the radius is 2. And then the height of the cylinder, imagine putting the cylinder up on its end, and the height would be 10, plus 2 times the area of the base, so pi r squared again. Radius is 2 squared. So let's do our work. 2 times 2 is 4, times 10 is 40, so that's 40 pi. Plus, over here, 2 squared is 4, times 2 is 8. We're going to do 8 pi over here. Add these up, 48 pi, and our answer becomes 48 times pi, and we get 150.79, and it continues. And we're going to round that to 151 square inches. So this is how you find the surface area of a cylinder. Because we're dealing with circles, and we're using pi because of that, You do need to make sure you have a calculator. You will be able to use a calculator on the whole test. It will be extremely useful when you come to a problem like this that uses pi. And lastly, this is your formula, and this is exactly what I will expect you to know, memorize, and reproduce on the test.